This idea of boredom, it's quite interesting, There's a couple of things that you could say about it. I know, it seems hard to imagine, especially because the time period is the 1770s. You have to wonder how come that time period would trip up on a mental health condition like boredom. In this case, of course, you could say there are many factors, but there was a single event that we could point to an expansion of this inquiry. In the 1770s, there was this movement called the Strum und Drang in Germany, a review of the storm and stress of life. In 1776, Johann Wolfgang Goethe, who you already know, had published a book titled The Sorrows of Young Werther. Werther, how it rhymes with Goethe, should not be lost upon us. The publication became enormously popular. There was prints, reprints, translation, distribution all over Europe. This is how Goethe, at the age of 24, became quite the celebrity, known all over Europe. The power of print media was just beginning to gain its influence over the population. Everybody was learning to read just so they could participate in coffee shop discussions, stay informed of the political climate, which was no doubt intense. It led to the French Revolution, as we know. What happens with mass media communication, anyways? The effect is all those questions that you've had begin to get answered. The ready access to information, you might be able to say it contributes to this feeling of melancholia. Folks would read the stories of other people and begin to internalize. We might be able to agree this is normal. And so this book is a story of Werther and unfulfilled love. This really happened apparently. The story of Werther had influenced mainly the youth to commit copycat acts of, just like Werther did, who blew his head off with a rifle. And I suppose there were enough incidents to have the authorities take it seriously, look into it further. There were these tragic stories of people committing these acts, and they would be found with a copy of Werther lying near them. Or sometimes it would be a suicide note stating they are experiencing the same kind of despair that Werther is going through, and his resolution seems to be a sensible one. All of these incidents resulted in the book being banned in many countries, became even more popular because now it's forbidden black market material. And Goethe, feeling kind of responsible, starts to investigate the root causes. Was it really my book, or was this just people finding a way out? There was an inquiry committee. You see, Goethe comes from this prominent political family. Imagine friends and influential people as family members in government who could effect real change, pass legislations for social reform. And that's how the Strum und Drang movement gained momentum. There was a definite example that they could point to and say, here, this is the reason we need to pay attention. The movement itself, in its core investigation, resulted in, on the one hand, folks who have lost their connection to the earth, nature, beauty, and this absence is leading to a sense of feeling lost. Also, there was the disillusionment with all of this focus on enlightenment, rationalism, order, which really, to the citizen, would mean conformity, lane discipline. And the youth they seem to be rejecting this imposition. And so this movement, in its aspirations, centered around the idea of freedom, how to embrace it, feel the liberty to express yourselves, channel some of this despair that you feel towards creativity, arts, music, literature. I think you could somewhat get an idea that the root causes of this feeling was boredom. Imagine this feeling of being told what to do, really, in a way, to stop thinking for yourself. And when you reject this perceived propaganda, you begin to get distracted and put your energy into things that are unachievable, like falling in love with a married woman, which is what Werther did, resulting in this despair. The root causes attributed to boredom. This idea of boredom, it comes up in quite a few places, with Camus as well, and we've come across it together in the story of our hero. Boredom. It's an interesting concept.